This video is going to be a focus on the Detroit Lions hook and lateral concept that Ben Johnson relied upon in order to keep the drive going on the Lions' last touchdown drive of their 48-42 loss to the Bills on Sunday. I've got three different iterations of this, two of which are essentially the same concept. The third is not only unique because of who gets the lateral, Penei Sewell, but also when they used it. Kind of tells you a little bit about Detroit's mentality when they went down to Dallas earlier this year and blew out the Cowboys. Let's get to the film, and I'll show you this one time through. This is, of course, the 4th and 10 with about 44 seconds left, I believe, when the ball is snapped. And it's going to be the hook and lateral on an in-breaking route to St. Brown. And then Jahmyr Gibbs releasing specifically perfectly timed from the other side of the formation, meaning here, timed up perfectly to match with the completion to St. Brown, and then the lateral to Gibbs that ends up being, I think, a 21-yard gain down the right sideline. It's a badass answer for a high-stress situation. When you're, I guess you could say, desperate, when you need to get a first down, maybe sometimes you say, well, I don't want to wait until 4th and 10 to do that. Let's do it earlier. I do think that there's something to be said for St. Brown, Gibbs, Goff, and those guys to be able to execute this in that situation. I guess some would say they have nothing to lose. They're already losing by 13 points in that moment when the ball is snapped, like I said, with 44 seconds left. But to be able to execute it consistently says a lot about how Ben Johnson and those guys operate in practice and how it translates over into the game. If you're new to my content, you may not be aware. I have a suspicion or a theory that Ben Johnson and the offense practice some of these trick plays, anomalous concepts in pods. So they practice them 6, 8, 10 minutes at a time, whereby multiple guys are involved. And I'll use the Penei Sewell lateral here in a moment that actually goes for or close to a touchdown against the Cowboys earlier in the season as an example to try to explain it. So this is the same exact play. You've got a Z under by St. Brown. Oftentimes, the number 2 receiver runs a vertical and tries to get to either the outside shoulder of that safety, or if he thinks that safety is going to run with him, he'll go to the inside shoulder to kind of try to drag him with him, draw his attention. In this case, Laporta has been carried by that safety, and he's trying not to block until a perfect moment. So watch how well-timed this is. I know that after the loss to the Bills, everybody has got their own agenda, things to talk about. I get it, but this, I think, is just worth mentioning, at least for me anyway. So if you like these types of videos, let me know. So the ball is completed to St. Brown. Laporta hasn't started blocking yet. It's now lateraled right at the time that it's being lateraled. And my player here might stutter a little bit going in reverse and then forward. So if it does, forgive me for that. I'm just talking about the timing at which this gets done. Laporta's blocking, quote, a little bit early, and in this day and age of social media and hyper-vigilant fans of every fan base, people would complain about that, I guess, if it was pointed out to them. I'm actually praising it because it's so well-timed and so well-constructed and structured, that you can rely on it in key moments. This isn't one. I think this is 4th or 5th possession against Arizona. That's Detroit's 3rd touchdown. But it's the same exact play that we mentioned from the Bills game. This one obviously is not. Clearly very unique in that you have a right tackle who's going to get the lateral, Penei Sewell. So how are they able to get this accomplished legally? St. Brown is on the line of scrimmage. Sewell is also on, so he is closed off, ineligible to receive a downfield pass. However, he can receive a lateral. Now, this is 37-9 in the second half, so there's a lot to be said about when they're using this and why. I'm all for it because I watched what the NFL and the refs, Brad Allen and those guys did last year to Detroit, clearly misconstrued the situation. In this case, they call, I think it's Ragnow for being downfield. And he clearly is, even though St. Brown is within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. I think he's 1 yard too far if you want to have a lineman downfield. But it's great timing on the lateral to Sewell, who gets 8 yards. I'll give you the end zone angle of this one so you can see it. So again, the 6 guys that are on the line of scrimmage are here. And then St. Brown off screen to our left is the 7th player on the line of scrimmage. So that's legal, and it's legal to lateral to an offensive lineman. Sewell with a great release, and then parallel to the line of scrimmage, running down the line. Ragnow takes himself too far downfield, and then Zeitler is probably a little bit better timed. Gets called back, nearly a touchdown for Sewell, incredibly athletic move by a right tackle in the NFL against a position player. So back to the one against the Bills. At this point in time, what's the win probability? I mean, there's a low percent chance you're going to win the game. Something like this, could it be used earlier in the game? Yeah, I guess. I got no problem with someone wanting to describe it as such. I think it's great against some of these teams that play quarters, softer coverages. Now, in this case, St. Brown's kind of tied up. So maybe the Bills have an inkling that this could be coming on 4th and 10. Maybe they're just being physical with him because he's such a dangerous threat. Very similar to what the dynamic that I described with Laporta against the Cardinals, except this time he just runs right by the guy and goes to get the downfield safety. I think that is the assumption there is that Gibbs is going to be able to get rid of or escape these two guys with the steam that he's built up getting down the field. In this case, Elam is able to kind of impede or disrupt his path down the right sideline. And then Laporta is unable to corral the safety. I think 39, but I could be wrong there. Ends up being a 21-yard gain. I get it this week that most people don't want to hear or talk about some of these other situations like this that are positive from that game. I think it just further, for me personally, confirms that these things are practiced in pods with the timing. And the timing on those two particular plays I showed you is basically the same on the lateral. There's really nothing different from a St. Brown standpoint. He's the crux of it all, getting the ball to him and then lateraling it back to someone else. Twice in this video, the case is Jahmyr Gibbs. Brilliant usage of Gibbs with his speed, his burst, and his acceleration. The other guy on the roster, I guess, two other guys on the roster that you would want to lateral the ball to and give him a chance to possibly take it to the house. Clearly, Jamison Williams, Khalif Raymond, who to my knowledge is injured still. This is my look at the hook and lateral concept. They've got a dozen other trick plays probably in their hat. And I think my estimation is that we as fans have seen 6 or 8 of them overall. This happens to be one that they showed us this past week against the Bills. In our Lions Discord, which is a part of my Patreon, by the way, I asked everyone, hey, can you remember any other hook and lateral plays? And two people messaged. One said the Cardinals game this year. That's why I grabbed that play. The same exact concept from the same exact formation that was utilized against the Bills. And then the FU lateral attempt to get Penei Sewell a touchdown against the Cowboys earlier in the season. I appreciate you guys' time. If you'd like the One Play Wednesday conceptual videos, please let me know in the comment section. Consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media if you'd like to see this content get more reach. Finally, if you have any other suggestions for One Play Wednesday content, be it Lions/Bills related or otherwise, please post a suggestion up in the comment section. Appreciate you guys' time.